All right.
All right, we're live.
Yes, we're live. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. You're
You
welcome,
want to be
Dr.
the host?
Vision.
I guess you would just say some few things before I start
You're
off.
welcome. You're
Thank you
welcome,
very
Dr.
much.
Vision. And more people will be joining us soon. Today, we'll be discussing all about the UK visa application, the different categories of the UK visa, any new thing you need to know about UK visas this 2022. And we also border some thoughts on how your plans for migration to UK will be affected by the current Ukraine versus Russia ongoing war. So
Mm.
for our program today, we have a very let's say experienced person to address some of these UK visa application and category issues. He has had the personal experience across almost all of the visa categories, and that is why he's the perfect person to speak to us about it. He has gone for PLAB 2 with I think tourist or visitor visa. He has gone to work with the work visa, and then he came back and went with his spouse. So he has an experience that should be beneficial to everyone. So if you're around already, we have some people joining us. I would like to just welcome Dr. Vision in the comment section. He is a medical doctor, finished from University of Benin, and currently is a junior clinical fellow in under general surgery. I hope I'm right,
Yeah.
colorectal in
Yeah.
the UK. So, Dr. Vision, you're welcome. We'll be giving you the floor to speak to us for a while and just share from your note, after which we'll ask our questions. Attending to your question will be a major focal point in this program. So, just welcome Dr. Vision in the comment section if you're around. Dr. Vision, over to you now.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Henry. I can't see the comments, so Henry, you help me with the comments. Whoever is online, or if you're watching this as a replay, thank you for joining us. It's really a big privilege for me to be here. I was discussing with Henry on backstage about how it's been a while. I've done something like this, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, Henry. And I want to actually thank you for helping me get on this platform. Yeah, you may say I'm a very experienced person, and I've been there, done that, but it's a privilege to be on this platform. First off, I want to thank you for having this idea coming on YouTube to like help people who are having same dreams and hopes to come over to the UK or to Europe just to probably further their studies or work here and increase their income or get a better life, as it were. So yeah, just as I said, my name is Vision. If you not know me before, I'm a medical doctor working in the UK. I came here in May last year, and I've been working here since then. So I'll just tell you a bit of my story. I talk a lot, so I know this session is for 1 hour, but we may exceed the time. But I'll try as much as possible to summarize. I talk a lot, and I came with a note just to make sure that what I say has some form of structure. But I'll just start with my story. But before I go ahead, if you are in the comment, if you are online at the moment, just give me a thumbs up or say hi or something so that we could interact together. It's not just going to be a monologue. I want it to be a conversation as much as possible. So I'll give us about probably 30 seconds. Say hi and where you are listening from, where you are viewing from. So let's know how many persons are in. I can see Nessin Amobi. Thank you very much for welcoming me. Emmanuel Baseki, thank you very much. These are familiar names. I'm glad friends and family are on this YouTube live at the moment. So just 30 seconds, just say where you are viewing from and we'll be able to crack on. Ono Segbe, thank you very much. Yeah, I can see that you are well represented. Thank you. Feel free, get ready with your pen and paper and get ready to jot things down. And I will try and share as much as I can, try and be real, tell you how it is on ground, and also put some disclaimers out there because I know many persons have been in this journey and they've not been successful. So getting a visa to anywhere in the world, if you are in Nigerian with a Nigerian passport, is usually not a walk in the park. Some persons have to try and fail and try so many times before they succeed. Welcome Kingsley Egwe, listening from Benin. Thank you very much for coming online. I think Benjamin, perfect. I saw your comment earlier. Thank you for coming online. So that's good. I think we've just got to the 5 minutes mark. And Henry, do I have your permission to go ahead?
Please, sir, you can go ahead.
Okay, great, great, great. So for those who are just joining, my name is Vision again. I'm a medical doctor working in the UK. I came in May of 2021, and it's almost a year now I've been here working. But I think before starting with the work visa, I came as a visitor. So for most of us who are in the medical field, that's the route because we have to write some professional exams. And one of those professional exams is called the Professional and Linguistic Assessment Board, PLAB. And a part of it is done in the UK. So before you can work in the UK, you have to come as a visitor and write the exam. So for other persons, you may not have to go through this route. Some persons coming to the UK and the first time they are coming is for work. Other persons coming to the UK and the first time is as a student. And so I'm going to talk about the different methods and routes that you can come into the UK legally, because this is the 21st century. If you're having any idea or thoughts of coming illegally and trying to hustle your way and getting your papers or documents, please dead that idea. You will be doing yourself more harm than good by trying to come into the country without the normal routes, just to try probably rectify it later. There are mistakes that you make that you regret for the rest of your life. And as you're a young person listening to me, you don't want to make that mistake at this point in time. So if you're going to do something, better do it right and do it the best way the first time, so that you don't have to have any regrets or have to do it over. So, Ben Charles, thank you. Yeah, I said it's good to be here. You have pack of questions. Nice, nice, nice. So I want us to do like an opinion poll. There are many visas I can talk about. We have the student visa, visitors visa, what we call tourist visa. You have the work visa, and the work visa has different types. You have the skilled worker visa, you have the health and care visa, and you have so many visas. You even have a new one that was introduced 3 years back, a global talent visa, where the UK has opened up opportunities of people who are talented in tech space, people who are talented in fashion, in arts and culture, and they are giving people this opportunity to come in. So, but in the comments, can you just tell me which you want me to talk about first? Probably if you want me to talk about the student visa or the work visa, I would do that first so that I would actually start off by popular demand. So let's go. If you want me to talk about the student visa first, just mention that. If you want me to talk about visitors visa, I could just talk about them randomly, but I don't know which will benefit you the most. So I would like to hear your comment. I think many persons who are here would want to, will be interested more in work and students. Yeah, I can see Kingsley. Thank you very much, Kingsley. Kingsley wants to know more about student visa. Okotia as well wants to know more about student visa. That's good. So one thing many persons do not know is that it's not as difficult as you think to get a master's or a student's visa to come into the country to study. It's not as difficult. So, you know, the human mind puts many mental blocks when you have a dream, when you have a goal. Oh, I want to follow my studies. I think my first degree is not enough. Let me get more education and probably do a master's degree. But I wouldn't want to do a master's degree in my home country. I want to do it abroad. But the first thing that comes to my mind is how difficult it is. So many persons would have the dream, but they will not do anything about it because they've heard stories, they've heard a lot of people who have made them doubt if it's possible. And I know one of the major reasons that people doubt themselves if they can ever fulfill their dreams, it's money. Yeah, let's bring out the real deal, the money. So, but if you ever consider money before you start off a dream or an idea, you will never finish. You will never do anything about it. You always need money. It can be quite expensive, but it's not impossible. And to be real with you, it's not as expensive as you think. So we'll actually break everything down and we'll talk about it. Because if you have a dream, money should not be what's stopping you, because there are many ways you can actually get funding and actualize your dream. So can we go ahead? So Omolola, thank you very much. You want me to talk about work visa? I'll do that. But I think more persons have spoken about student visa. So I'll start with student visa. And I'll move on to work visa. Of course, I have a lot to say about work visa because that's how I came into the UK. And probably no one is talking about tourist or visitors visa. You guys don't want to go to the UK and come back, or is that I don't know. But I think tourist and visitors visa is also very important because many persons want to stay back in Nigeria. They just want maybe a vacation or meet their friends, visit families, and come back. See, many persons are actually doing very well in Nigeria. Some persons have specific instructions not to leave. And there are persons who probably because of their agreements or contracts, I know there are some scholarship bodies that tell you after you finished your time in the UK, you have to come back and spend at least 2 years. I won't mention names. So let's go to it. Student visa. So because of the scope of our session today, I'm not going to dwell so much about applying for your master's degree because that's actually another topic. There are many persons already here who thought this live session was talking about applying for masters. No, I'm here to talk about applying for the student visa. But just to help you, if probably you don't know so much about that, is if you want to study in the UK, you need to have a plan. And sometimes you can even start planning more than a year before time. So for example, if you want to come to the UK in September of 2023, now is the right time to start planning. It may even be already late, but you need to start planning now because the resources you need, the qualifications you need, the money you need to start preparing yourself for them right now. So for a student visa, you have a school in mind or some numbers of schools you want to apply to, and you make your application. And it's after you've gotten an unconditional offer of admission that you can really say, I want to apply for a student visa. Now, many schools have different requirements. Some will want you to have an IELTS or a particular score. Others will ask for your school to send a letter to say you've studied your first degree in English and they can waive your IELTS for you. IELTS is like an English language test that many schools in the UK would require of you. But I think some schools will want you to have a waiver and they are okay with that. They may not require IELTS. You'd have to check the school's website. And after you've gotten an unconditional offer, it's usually pretty straightforward at this stage to put in an application. Many of them just want probably your WAEC results and your transcripts, and they give you the offer. I tell people getting the getting the master's offer is actually not difficult. It's getting scholarships or funding that may be difficult for some persons. So I know people who have had like 5, 6, 3, 4 offers, but they are stalling because they don't have enough money to start off. So like I said before, don't allow money be what deters you from following your dreams. After you get your master's offer, you go on to either sourcing for funds, getting scholarships, or applying for visa if you have the money. Now, many persons don't know this. For most schools in the UK, you don't need to pay the tuition fee 100% before you start off. So initially, they ask for a deposit. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry, so I'd like to drink some water. They ask for a deposit, and usually deposits between 5% to 15% of your course fees. For example, if your course fee is say 15k or 10k pounds, you'd be asked to pay about 15% of that, which would be like 1.5 or 2k, depending on the school. There are some schools that their course fees are as high as 20k, others are as low as 14 or 13. You'll be asked to pay a deposit. Now, if you don't pay that deposit, it's like you've not committed yourself to that school. So they won't be able to give you what we call a confirmation of acceptance of studies number. We call it CAS. CAS is like the school saying, we have affirmed that this person, this individual, this immigrant has decided to study with us, has decided to come to our school for a 1-year program. And I would actually like to trace back. For a student visa, there are two types. There's the normal master's visa, which is for 1 year and above, and there's a short course study visa, which is for courses of 6 months, but not more than 1 year. You have to be sure of what you're applying for. If what you're applying for is less than 1 year, you will not have the same privilege as students would have because you are coming for a short course, as it were, just as the name implies. And some of the things you would not have opportunities to do is something like working in the UK. If you are given a visa for a short course study, which is like 6 months or 10 months, you won't have the opportunity to work in the UK. So all your stay here, you would have to fund it yourself. You won't be legally allowed to work in the UK and make some extra money to pay some of your bills. So that's by the side. So make sure that what you're applying for in the first instance is for a postgraduate course that is at least 12 months so that you can get the appropriate visa for that. And like I said, I will apologize. I know many persons actually wanted me to talk about how to apply for masters. You could actually get my number from Henry, and we'll be able to discuss that in a different session. But this session is just focusing on visas. So when you've paid that deposit, you need to apply for the confirmation of acceptance of your studies. And usually what they ask for is, apart from the deposit you pay, they'll ask for a transcript, they'll ask for, some people ask for motivation letter. It's just the same way you apply for a school to study your master's there. And when you're qualified for a CAS number, that's the number you will use in your application for your visa. I hope you are following. So until you have that CAS number, it's useless actually trying to apply for a visa, because the visa process is another different entire ball game. So until you have your CAS number, you cannot actually go forward to apply for your visa. So let's assume you now have your confirmation of acceptance from your school. Let's say you decide to study in University of Hull or University of Liverpool, and you have your CAS number. You need to go to gov.uk, which is the official government website of the UK, and apply for a visa. Now, many persons like to go through agents. I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of using an agent. While an agent may be experienced, probably they've had a lot of clients that have done the same thing as you have. Most times, you have to pay extra fees for the information that are freely available through an agent. So for example, the agent doesn't get information anywhere else than the website I've just mentioned. The website is gov.uk, gov.uk is the only recognized website that the UK government uses to share information about themselves, about schooling, about taxes, about businesses to the public. And the agents you are paying money to, all they do is go to the website, download the information there, and form their own, probably customized, and sell it to you. They may promise you that they will help you with your visa application, help you make it seamless, help you make it successful. But even an agent cannot guarantee you 100% success in getting your visa, your student visa. All they do is just, because they've had a lot of experience working with people, they just get money from you to make yours part of a business model, basically. I'm not discouraging people who have, probably some people are here who actually are agents for visas for students, but I'm not discouraging you. If you want to use an agent, it's fine. But it's something you can actually do on your own by just going to the website and getting your information. Now, there's something about this website. The website is updated very frequently. I was looking up the website as of yesterday, and there was an update as of yesterday from the website. That means things change as a lot of things happen. Henry was asking me some questions before we started. What's the implication of this war between Ukraine and Russia as with regards to people trying to come over to the UK? And I said something. There have been no changes yet. If things get worse, probably there will be changes. But as at now, things are the same. And I usually tell people, you don't observe the wind before you sow. If not, you will never make a move. Always have your plan in mind. Of course, have plan B, but let your plan A be the major plan you are trying to follow through on. And do things as you would normally do them if everything was okay. Don't allow whatever is happening in the world right now to stop you from pursuing your dreams. I don't know if you guys are following. If you're following me, let me see some responses in the comments. All right. So go ahead with your plan. Do not allow what's happening in the world right now. Things will never be perfect. The conditions will never be perfect for you to make a move. I don't know why the issue with Ukraine and Russia is actually even stopping you at the moment, because in fact, in reality, nowhere is safe. I'm not going to talk about how secure some countries are than the others, but actually nowhere is safe. Whether you are hiding under a cave or you are in the best country in the world, if there's anything like that, nowhere is safe. So go ahead with your dream, go ahead with your plans. Do not allow these things stop you. Now, so when you've gotten your CAS number, you go to gov.uk, which is the official website of the UK, and there's a section for visas and immigration. You can actually Google it right now and be sure that what I'm saying is true and accurate. But I know what I'm saying is true and accurate because I've done that. I've been there, I've done that. You go to visa and immigration, and you go to the section for student visas. You have to make an online application. So the good thing about the UK visa system is you don't need to submit any application to any person, to any office. Of course, there's a place where you would actually attend a biometric appointment, but that's different to what I'm trying to say. It's done online, and after you finish the application online, you will now be required to appear for a biometric assessment. Now, this assessment is different from what obtains in the US, where you have to do an interview. I hear people say, oh, I'm preparing for a UK visa interview. There's nothing like that. It's just a biometric appointment where all they need is for you to, they're just putting a face to the name for you to have your thumbprint and submit your documents if you have not submitted them online. So I'll go over it again. When you've had an unconditional offer of your master's studies, for example, you get a letter by the mail. Congratulations, Henry. You've just been given an offer to study biomedical engineering in the University of Oxford. You have to follow through with that email, and they will give you further information on how to get a confirmation of acceptance. So you have to respond to say, yes, I'm following through with this, and they will tell you how to apply for a CAS number. When you get the CAS number, then you can go to the gov.uk website to apply for a student visa. Now, there are three things the entry clearance officer, which is the officer who is in charge of scrutinizing all visa applications to determine who will be allowed entry into the UK to study. There are three things the person is looking for. The first thing is, do you have a legitimate reason to come into the UK to study? So some people think having an offer from the school is enough, but that's not enough. Many persons have offers, but for some reasons, money, sickness, health-wise, probably they have better offers. They may not follow through with it. So for example, I just imagine I apply for 5 schools and I get the offers from 3 schools. I can't attend all the 3 schools at the same time. I have to reject some offers, basically, probably by not following through. And for others, I will accept them. So your offer alone is not enough. You need to get the confirmation, which I've spoken of before. So that's the first thing. That's a legitimate reason for you coming to the UK. The second thing is that you must have enough resources to fund yourself. That means to take care of your living expenses and to pay your tuition fees or your course fees in your bank account. Now, the money may not be yours, but you are showing proof that you have the money available. So I would use this opportunity to tell a story about when I came to the UK first time. That was October 2020, just after the first wave of the pandemic. So I came here because I needed to write a professional exam, almost 2 years now, and it was October 2020. I applied for my visas in March of the same year, but because of a lot of COVID disturbances and delays, I couldn't get into the UK until October. So the timeline for applying for visas is about 3 to 6 months before your time of travel. So if you plan on starting school, say September of this year, you should be applying for your visas around June, because it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for the visas to come back. So you need enough time to come into the UK and probably before you start your studies. But some people try to apply, it's just a time frame. Some people apply a week to, some people apply a month to, but I would advise for you to apply 3 months to after you've gotten your CS number. So back to my story. So I applied in March, but because of COVID, I couldn't get in. I had to wait till October to come write my exam. I had just 22,000 naira at the time because I was doing my NYC in my bank account. I actually used my NYC account to apply, and I'll tell you how I did it. So many persons think you need to have millions in your account before you'll be accepted to come to the UK. I know, okay, some people will say the visa I used was a visitor's visa, so probably there was no scrutiny, but that's not true. I know a lot of persons that have been rejected their application because of money issues. So, like I said, the first thing, you must have a legitimate reason for coming to the UK. That's what the entry clearance officer wants to see. And secondly, you must have the finances to take care of your trip, of your expenses. And those are the two most important things. I'll tell you about the third thing after my story. So what I did is that I used a sponsor. And that's the good thing. The UK allows you to use a sponsor, a financial sponsor, in the instance that you do not have enough money to take care of your trip. So whether you are a student or you are going for visits or even coming for work, I will explain how sponsorship works for work visas later because I'm talking about student visa at the moment. So for a student visa, let's say your dad has 10 million and that's the cost of your 1 year period in the UK. When I mean 1 year period, both your tuition fee and your living expenses is actually more than that. I'm just using 10 million naira as a figure. For some schools, you may need up to 15 million because of where you need to live in. So if you go to the gov.uk website, if you are doing your masters in London, you need to show proof of funds up to £1,200 or £1,300 every month for at least 9 months. But if you're living in other areas, because the cost of living in London is quite expensive, other areas it will be about 1,100 every month. So if you calculate that times 9 plus your cost fees, you see that you need a lot of money. But the good thing is you don't need to have this money in your account for a very long period of time. If you are not using a sponsor, the money should be in your account for at least 28 days before you make your application. So for example, if I'm applying today, which is the 27th of February, my bank statement should show that this amount of money, depending on the school you're applying for and the location you'll be in, should have been in my account for since the end of January up to today, if I'm applying today. I don't know if we are following. Now, this is the interesting part. Must the money be your own? Must the money be yours? No, not necessarily. Would you need money when you come to the UK? Yes, but just so you get the visa, you can make an arrangement for somebody to actually sponsor you just so you get the visa. So this is what I did. When I was coming to the UK, that was 2020, I asked my uncle, who had the funds and resources, to write a sponsor letter, or what we call to stand in as a, will I use the word guarantor now, that he's going to take care of my expenses when I come into the UK. Of course, he was not going to take care of my expenses. I just needed a person to stand as a sponsor. So there are people who actually have real sponsors. So the person stands for you, writes a letter for you, and gives you the money. But I don't know anybody who will be willing to invest about 10, 15 million to you right now. If you have that person, that's good. You're actually a very lucky chap. But most persons actually have to face the reality of life. Nobody has 15 million to invest for a 1 year period for you. Most persons will not be in that situation. But if you come from a rich family or you have some inheritance somewhere, that's very good. I'm actually happy for you. Probably you DM me and I'll send you a message after the session. Anyway, let's go back to our topic. Let's not go off topic. So don't allow the issue of not having enough money stop you. There are persons who can actually stand. I'll share some stories, but let me finish mine. So he wrote the letter, he authorized it, sent it to the bank. The bank wrote a cover letter as well to say our client, mentioned my uncle's name, has agreed to sponsor the trip of his nephew for a period of 14, 21 days for him to come write the exam and he comes back to the country. Now, when they see a bank statement and a bank cover letter saying that a particular person who has money, who has resources, who doesn't have any criminal record, and who is doing legitimate business in Nigeria, is willing to stand in place for you and say, I will sponsor you, is usually a walk in the park. It's actually easier. Now, when you put the money in your account, they do some background checks. Sometimes they do. And they say, okay, how come this person has so much money in their account and there's no proof? How come this person has 10 million in their account? What kind of business do they do? So they just do some background check and they realize that, okay, this money was not gotten legitimately. So sometimes it's actually wiser to use a sponsor when you do not have the resources. But for a student visa, it's pretty straightforward. You just want to be sure that you have the money, they may not do those background checks. They may just give you your student visa because they know you are coming in for something that is legitimate, like coming to study. And they know you're coming to study will actually help them in the long run. We'll go on to that later. So the second reason, like I mentioned, is that you have enough financial power to take care of your stay for a 1 year period or for as long as your postgraduate studies will go for while in the UK. And the third reason, it may not be consistent with everybody. The third reason is that you do not have any criminal record. You're going to come back after your studies are completed. If you're coming for a visit, you're going to go back to your home country after you are done. You do not have any suspicious history about you that will question your character or your integrity and make them want to deny you your visa. For example, if you're someone who has a criminal record in Nigeria, it does not really mean that you would not come back after your visits or you would become a nuisance when you come here to the UK. But it's a perspective it shows. It just gives a perspective of this person cannot be trusted. If you are someone who has a record of defense, a record of bad behavior, and it's on the system, and they do a background check and see that you are not to be trusted, it may be difficult for them to give you a permission to enter the country. But usually what we just do is that we get a police report to say we have no record. And that's what most persons do. But just make sure you're in your best behavior up to the time that you need to travel out of the country. You don't want the last few months when you are planning to leave the country to be the reason for your downfall. Probably you do something that is very wrong and you have to be imprisoned or arrested or something, or have to face jail time. There are people who have actually had their passports seized because they were under some criminal investigation. So these are some of the things that may stop you from leaving the country when it's time. But that's not the case for most of us here or any of us here. So I'll just move ahead. So the two main reasons is have a legitimate reason and have the financial backing. So let's assume that you have your offer of studies and you now have the finances. How can you get the money? I gave you one of the options. Ask somebody who has the money to sponsor you. And usually they prefer someone who has a relationship with you. So you cannot just go meet a random rich person and say, please write a letter that you sponsor me. Do not hold a lot of power when you compare it with somebody that you know. For example, if your father chooses to write a sponsorship letter, it's more credible than when a random person you do not have a relationship with. It doesn't have to be your father, I'm just saying. Probably your uncle, your aunt, your father, or your mother. It helps the credibility of that sponsorship application from whoever is trying to help you. I know persons who have asked their employers to write a sponsorship letter for them and it worked. But more often than not, they would like a more personal relationship, a more personal touch to it. So if it's coming from your parents or somebody that you have a relationship that you can give evidence to, then that's fine. So the only evidence I had to use for mine was the letter that came from my uncle. Other people have pictures, they have letters or documents that show some form of long-standing relationship they've had with the person who is sponsoring them and the money in the account. That's all, and you get the visa. Another thing they need from Nigerians and most Africans when you're applying for a visa is a TB certificate that shows that you've not had TB in the last 6 months or that you are TB free. So essentially, when it's time for after you've applied online for your visa, you go to the office and you get a chest X-ray done. If your chest X-ray shows that you do not have any features of TB, they give you a certificate. If the chest X-ray shows some findings that are suspicious, you do further tests, and until they prove that you're not at risk to anybody if you move abroad, basically. So that's another thing. Then the criminal record. So they do some criminal record checks, but usually what they just do is you go to a police secretariat and get a certificate showing that you do not have any criminal record in the last 1 year or you're staying in the country, and that can suffice. These are the documents you take with your CS number to say that you are applying for masters and you get your visa in 3 to 4 weeks. Before I move on, does anybody have any questions? Because I know I've said a lot. If you have questions, please pop it in the comment section. I don't want to talk about money yet. There will be a session for talking about the amount, the costs of these things. Probably I will do that after I've talked about all the visas, because I know that. Okay, somebody asked what is TB. My wife is asking what is TB. TB is tuberculosis. She's in the room somewhere asking these questions. Funny woman. Ben Charles is asking, I have an offer already and I've made a deposit payment. Please, I want to know the following. Okay. I was given admission using my statement of result and transcript. Can I use same to apply for visa, or must it be the original certificate because my certificate is not ready yet? So you have to ask. So these things you have to confirm. So I know some persons who have used just transcript and not the original certificate. I know people who they had to do some background checks. But for most persons, transcript is enough. I think I'm sure of what I'm saying because I know people who have used just their transcripts. So you have to ask questions. Everybody's application is different. You know, that I worked for one person does not mean to work for everybody. So if you can get your original certificate before it's time, please do. But I think the transcript shows that you've actually completed your course study, and most persons actually prefer that to a certificate because many persons can forge certificates, but transcripts will be more difficult to forge, basically. Where can one get the tuberculosis test certificate? Okay, so there are 2 centers in Nigeria that you can get a TB certificate from. There's one in Lagos in Ikeja, and there's another one in Abuja. So in my time, it cost about 57K, but I don't know if that has changed. So if you just check online or Google TB certificate for UK immigration, I think the website should come up. It's IOM, that's the name of the company. I think an international organization for migration, something like that. So I'll go to the fees now. The things you should be aware of, apart from the proof of funds that you need in your bank statement, like I said before, that should be in your bank for at least 28 days before your application, is so your visa application fee. You remember I mentioned that you go to gov.uk website and you apply online. Visa applications for UK usually done online. The gov.uk website will charge you about 342, hope I'm correct, or 348 pounds to apply for a student visa. And they would, let me just confirm that for a student visa, it's yes. So the visa application fee is 324 pounds. But I think what they will tell you on the website is in dollars. You pay in dollars. I'm just trying to convert. So hope I've answered your question on but it's still showing up on the screen. Where can one get TB test certificates? Either in Lagos or in Abuja. So that's fine. So you have to pay that 324 pounds for the application. Then you get to a biometric test center. So the biometric test centers, we have 2 in Lagos. That's one in Ikeja and one in VI. And we have in Abuja as well, visa application center. So at the biometric center, all you need to do, like I said, is not an interview. You just put a face to the name, submit your documents, and they will just ask for your thumbprint. And you wait for about 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes more, for them to get you your visa. So that's it. And apart from these fees, you also have to bear in mind that you still need to pay for your flight expenses and the times you spend in the UK. Probably for the first 1 month before you find your feet and trying to get work, you need to consider the expenses you would need for those periods. So all in all, you will need a lot of funds to carry through with this process, but do not allow the fact that you do not have enough money now stop you. What many persons will discover, if you start, realize that you cross the bridge as you go. And that question comes in, must the transcript be sent directly to the UK via from a Nigerian school? So the way transcript works, there's no authenticity if you are the one sending it and there's no verification. Anybody could send anything, especially now that we are in the digital age and a lot of people can forge things. The reason why it's actually called a transcript is because there's a transfer from the school who is saying that you studied here and these are your scores and these are your grades to another body that needs it. I don't know if you get me. There will be no authenticity if you are the one saying that this is my grade. They have to do some background checks. So your school will have to send that to the body that needs it. I hope I've answered the question. So these are things you need to apply for in time while you are waiting, you are preparing for your visa. Because if you do not get these things sorted out, transcripts, your IELTS, if your school needs IELTS, you'll find out that there are some delay. You've gotten an offer, but you can't start at the particular time you need to start because you are not ready. Most UK schools will not require IELTS, but some will do. So check the school's website and see if you need to pay for the exam and write the test. But I know there are some schools who will just need a letter from a responsible person in your school saying you did your studies entirely in English, and that's fine. That suffices. So that's for student visa. I know I would be able to respond to more questions, but let's just move on. I want to talk about work visa now so that I can actually tell my story. So work visa, the UK is largely driven, the economy of the UK is largely driven by immigrants. So many of their vacant positions are filled by people who have come from a different country, from abroad, basically. So there will always be opportunities for people to come to work in the UK, but that the fact that there's opportunity doesn't mean that it's easy. Doesn't mean that it's a walk in the park. There are lots of processes, and one of the processes will be getting a work visa. But what most persons do not know is that for you to get a work visa, more often than not, you need to get a job offer. Just the same way as for a student visa, for you to get a student visa, you need to get an offer of admission. You can't just come to the UK and you don't have anything you're doing. There must be a legitimate reason why you are coming. Remember the two things I said, the two most important requirements the entry clearance officer will be looking for. Do you have a legitimate reason for coming to the UK, and do you have the financial resources to stay here in the UK? Yeah, so for work visa, you need an offer, a job offer. So for most persons, for professionals like us, what we do is that we write an exam and we apply for jobs. I'm making it simple, but it's not as simple as I've just said it. For example, if you're not a professional, if you have to have a qualification that can make you eligible for some kind of role. Even if you want to be a cleaner or a social worker, I know they've made it possible now for social workers to come under the health and care visas and get a lot of benefits and come to work in the UK, because that's like a shortage occupation. They are part of the shortage occupation list now. Even if it's a basic level job, you still need some form of qualification that will sell yourself to get the right job that will get you a visa. The reason why you need to get a job before you apply for a visa, because you will need something called a certificate of sponsorship. So the certificate of sponsorship for work visa, it's just like the CAS I mentioned for student visa, or it's similar. So a certificate of sponsorship says that the job that you have just been employed to are willing to sponsor you to come to the UK and take care of any financial expenses that may incur in the first 1 month of your stay in the UK. Usually they do not give you that financial benefit. Most jobs will just give you the number or the letter so that you could use to apply for a visa. When you come, your salary and benefits from your job will cover for that. So as a doctor, what I did is I wrote the professional exams, I passed it, and I applied for jobs because I had passed it. Passing the exam made me qualified, or gave me a registration, a qualification to apply for jobs. You may not be a doctor, you may be a nurse, the same thing. For a nurse, you need to write the IELTS exam, you have to write the computer-based test, and apply for jobs, basically. The jobs will give you the certificate of sponsorship. When you come over to the UK, you do a special exam called a clinical observed skills clinical exam, OSCE, or observed and structured clinical exam. I think I'm getting it wrong, but it's called OSCE, basically. And when you pass the OSCE, your employment is confirmed and you can continue working in the UK. But the most important thing for working in the UK is having that certificate of sponsorship, because the entry clearance officer, that's the person who is scrutinizing your visa, not going to take you seriously if you do not have that COS. You cannot just come to the UK to hustle without a COS if you are coming to work. So what you do is that you apply for jobs. Many persons don't know this. There is no special, apart from the fact that most jobs want you to have a UK experience. There are many jobs who do not care or who do not mind somebody coming fresh from a foreign country to work in the UK. As long as you can fashion your CV in a way that's presentable and sell yourself to somebody who's willing to employ you, you'll be given a job offer. And after you get a job offer, you'd be able to apply for visas. Now, there are many persons who apply for jobs and do not know if the employer has the right or the qualification to grant a certificate of sponsorship. So you have to be aware, check the gov.uk website and be sure that whoever you're applying to can give you a sponsorship number. So let's assume you have a job offer, you've applied. What does it take to get a work visa and come to the UK? First, you have your certificate of sponsorship number. You go back to the website I mentioned, gov.uk. Everything happens on that website. There's no agent, there's no middleman, there's no office you go to, it's online. You apply online with your certificate of sponsorship number and they need some details. So first of all, it's almost similar to the student's visa, just that for proof of funds, you would not need proof of funds. Your certificate of sponsorship will stand in place for your proof of funds, because it's assumed that your company or the office who has employed you will take care of any expenses that incurs when you come to the UK. There's something else that they call the international health surcharge. I forgot to mention it for student visa. Students are meant to pay it as well, and it can run up to 400 and something pounds per year. It's like health insurance to cover for your healthcare needs when you come to the UK. For those in the health and care sector, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, those working in the NHS basically, there's a waiver for that. So you don't get to pay that amount of money every year. You do not have to pay that surcharge for yourself and your dependents. Optometrists are also part of the shortage list. So you can apply for the health and care visa too. But before applying, you need to get a job offer, like I mentioned. So getting the job is actually one of the most important things. Once your job gives you a certificate of sponsorship, the visa process is actually very straightforward. So what you need to do is, how do I get the opportunities? What are the websites? Where is the information hidden? Who are the people who have successfully come into the UK in this profession I'm currently doing? And how do I follow in their footsteps? For medical doctors, you have to write the PLAB exam, get your GMC registration, apply for jobs. When you get a job, the job gives you a certificate of sponsorship and you apply for a visa. And you do not need proof of funds. So imagine you getting a job and you need to prove that you have enough money to come work. No, they don't ask for that. So just imagine you don't need your bank statements. You do not need to pay any health insurance, and you can just come to work in the UK. It's as beautiful as that. So when I came into the UK in May last year, I didn't need to provide any bank statements. All I need was the certificate of sponsorship from my employer and my TB test and the fact that I had a free criminal record from police. That's all that was needed. I did not need to, and of course I paid the visa fees. But apart from that, I did not need to show any other proof. It was actually easier. My visa came in 1 week and a few days because I already had the certificate of sponsorship number. So that's it for work visa. If you have any questions, please put in the comments. I'll be able to share more when I have questions that can make me talk about specific things. So how do I move my career trajectory from a graduate engineering degree to one that is more medically based, like chiropractic college? So how the simplest way to answer this question is you need to have a qualification in chiropractics. And I don't know if there are opportunities in Nigeria that can give you that, but you have to do your own research. If you can't get those qualifications in Nigeria, then try getting a master's or a short course in this field that you have chosen in a recognized university, probably UK. And if you do that, then you can work as a practitioner in that field. So I noticed that some persons may not be in the health and care field, but the UK has made it very, very possible and easy for people to come and work as healthcare workers. What you can do is try and do a short course, try and get some form of qualification in it. I know people who had not done nursing before and came to the UK and studied a nursing course and are working as nurses today. I know people who did mental health nursing for about 2 years as a master's course and are able to practice nursing today in the UK. So if you notice that there's probably an easy route for you, but it's different from the line of study you did as an undergraduate, try and get some qualifications in that field. As long as you are proficient enough to practice it, of course, you will get the visa and you'll be able to work. Please, can you talk about dependents with the visa? So that's the next thing. I think we've talked about student visa, we've talked about work visa. So your dependent visa, it's just somebody who is your dependent. So for your dependents, the UK recognizes only your partner and your children. So for example, my wife, and if I have children, or when I have children, my children, if we are to travel to the UK, those are the people who are recognized as dependents. My sister is not recognized, my mom, my dad, those are not my dependents. The only reason why they will be recognized as dependents is if I have probably a medical letter from a doctor saying they are very unwell and need to get treatment in the UK, for example, and they can stay with me as dependents, then they can be given some leeway. But other than that, it's your immediate family, your wife or your husband and your children that can come under you as your dependents. So what happens is that the certificate of sponsorship number that the job gave you after you got your job offer is what they use to apply for their visa. So practically their visa is tied to yours. It's not a separate visa, it's like an extension of your visa. So for example, I came to the UK in May 2021 and I was here till my wedding in December, and my wife just had to apply to get a visa as well to come live with me because we were married, we had proof. So all they need to do is show proof that, all you need to do to, like, the requirements for this visa is show some proof that you are truly a dependent to this person, as you say. So all you need, probably a marriage certificate if you have that. It will be very difficult to prove that you are married to somebody if you don't have a marriage certificate. Pictures and charts and other letters are not as authentic as a marriage certificate. So if you can do a court wedding, so most persons actually do a court wedding before the white wedding or the traditional, just so they can have the marriage certificates to use as one of the requirements for a dependent visa. When you do that, that's like the most important thing. Other things like pictures, chats that you have with your partner, that are just supporting documents. Of course, the same person, the dependent visa will also be needed to provide a TB certificate and a a police certificate that shows that they've not had any criminal record in the last 1 year. And as long as you have a certificate of sponsorship that lasts for about 2 to 3 years and can be extended, they'll be allowed to come into the country. Now, the benefit of this is that when you come into the country and you have a dependent visa, the privileges that the main person, that is the primary visa holder, has, you have it as well. For example, students are only allowed to work about 20 to 25 hours a week in the UK. So they are not allowed to have a full-time job. Sometimes they allow you to have a full-time job in the summer when you have holidays. That's between June to August. But most persons are not allowed, but they want you to be studying. They want you to be attending classes. So I know people who have said, I'll just get a student visa in the UK and I will not go to school. I'll just come and hustle and work full-time. No, it's wrong. It's illegal. And if you are caught, your visa will be revoked and you'll be sent back to where you're coming from, basically. So actually, if you have a student visa, come here to work. There are restrictions for student visas. You can't work as a student. You can't work as a sports person. But other than that, you can do some form of work, but it's restricted because it has to be 20 hours per week, as opposed to 40 hours or more that people like us are allowed to work on a healthcare visa. So if a student visa also allows you bring in your dependent, well, like I mentioned, it has to be your spouse or your child, and all they need to do is provide proof. For a child, provide proof, probably a birth certificate. I don't have a child yet, so I've never done that. I can't talk freely about that. But I think a birth certificate and anything to show evidence that you've been taking care of that child for a while will suffice, and they will allow that child come under you as a dependent. How does this help you? Living in the UK can be quite kind of lonely if you're alone. If you have people who can come in and offer support, you have someone that you can communicate with, have some form of relationship with, it helps. Probably if that person is probably your wife or your child. So it's good to come in and bring dependence with you. It makes life more fulfilling when you're here. All right. So I've said enough. Anyone with questions? Oh, it's been a long day. On the segment says, for doctors using the master's routes, are they exempted from the health insurance fee? For you're not exempted if you are solely coming in as a student. If you've come here as, for example, if I want to do a master's, I'm not going to pay health insurance fee because my visa is under the worker visa, but I'm just doing my master's with it. But if I were in Nigeria and I was applying for a student visa, I will still have to pay the health insurance fee because I'm not working here as a doctor. I've not come here under the work status. So whatever we have or however you want to do it, it's better you find whichever works for you and is more appropriate for you. Another person says about the OSCE, is it automatic that one can pass that? Oh, it's an exam, so you either pass or fail. I think the pass rate is high these days because a lot of preparations and tutorials have gone into it, but you still need to put in the work. But I think it's doable. Many persons pass the exam. Cesare says, what are the chances of getting jobs after a master's degree in the UK? Okay, that's a good one. So there's a graduate program that was instituted in February of 2021. That's last year now. That allows people to have some post master's period, about 2 years, where they can apply for jobs and be allowed to work in the UK under the student visa. Just an extension. But most persons use that. Other people come back and get jobs and get a work visa. So it's possible to actually finish your master's degree and get jobs. I think when you studied in the UK, it puts you forward in your CV. It makes your CV look good. Although in this country, they're actually more interested in what you can do than what qualifications you have. If you can do it, then you're competent. Somebody who has the qualifications on paper may not necessarily get the job faster than someone who can do the job. So it's just a matter of selling yourself and putting yourself in the best way possible. But yes, doing a master's in the UK increases your chances of actually working here, and you have up to 2 years post-masters to work in the UK if you go through the graduate program route. Someone's asking, what about common law partner? I don't understand what that question means. If you can rephrase, I would appreciate that. Ayorinde says, please, how do I get visitor's visa to write Plan 1 in the UK? That's a good question. So, just like I said, the ECHO wants to know if you have a legitimate reason to come into the UK. That's the most important thing he's looking for, he or she is looking for. ECHO means Entry Clearance Officer. So, what's your legitimate reason, Plan 1? So, Plan 1 is not a strong reason enough to come to the UK to write the exam. Do you know why? The ECHO will say, there are other centers in the world that allow you write Plan 1 exam. For example, Plan 1 is done in Ghana, it's done in Nigeria, it's done in India, it's done in Dubai. So the question will be, why UK? Why are you coming to the UK? But if you can give a strong reason, if you can write in a cover letter with your application to say, this is the reason why I need to write it in the UK, fine, you'll be given your visa. Other people have come in with a visitor's visa. By visitor visa, what I mean is they say they're actually coming to visit a friend or family and have used that opportunity to write the exam. But more often than not, it's easier to get a Plan 2 visa than a Plan 1 visa because of the reason I mentioned. Because Plan 1 is written in other parts of the world. Harold says, the new healthcare visa, do you pay health insurance? So welcome, Harold. I guess you're just joining us. But if you listened earlier, I mentioned that it's waived, so you don't get to pay. It's not part of the visa fees at all. Uche says, can someone come with a visitor's visa and get a job? So you are not allowed to work using a visitor's visa. There are few exceptions to that rule, but more often than not, is a no-no. It's even stated in your visa vignette when you see it on your passport. You are not allowed to work. So the temptation is you get a 6 months visa and you are tempted to get a job. It's illegal. People do it, but it's illegal, and I will not advise you to do that. Having a visitor's visa increases your chances to getting a new one when it's time to apply again. For example, if you've been to the UK before, let's say in 2019 on a visitor's visa, and you did not do anything illegal, you came back to the country. When next you need to apply, it makes your application much easier. So if you have a visitor's visa, just try and work and leave. Sorry, try and leave, not work. Try and leave according to the rules that we are given and go back to the country. Now, when next you need to apply, it's easier for you. All right? Any further questions? So what I'm going to do, okay, somebody says, do I need to present evidence of Club 1 registration to get the student visa? No, it's not part of the requirements. You don't need evidence of Club 1 registration to get a visa for students. All you need is an offer from the school you've applied to, and it's a confirmation of acceptance to say that, yes, we know this person has applied, we've given this person an offer, and we are willing for this person to come and study for 12 months, 18 months in the UK. I feel this session was quite of a rush, so I think you can reach me on WhatsApp if you have further questions, or Instagram. My Instagram handle is visionufua, VISIONUFUAH, or on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is +234 7064 204326. And you can send a chat, and I would.
You have to slow down so I can type
Okay, I
it
should
out
slow
for
down.
them.
I actually said it fast
Slow
so that
down.
people will not troll me on those platforms. I'm kind of a very busy person. Henry has been on my neck for a
Okay,
while.
so you don't want them to
This,
have it?
yeah, today is the only free weekend I've had in 6 weeks, and I had to make it free because I wanted to be available to give this presentation, as it were. So +234 706 420 4326 is my WhatsApp number, and my
Yeah.
Instagram handle is Vision4. So I'll go over it again. +234 706 420 4326 is my WhatsApp number. Now, just to conclude, I know many of you still have questions. You can send me a message on WhatsApp and I'll explain further. Always refer to the gov.uk website, please. I may have been able to share my experience and tell you how it happened for me, but there are a lot of updates. Oh, thanks, Henry, for bringing it up. There are a lot of updates that come with changing times and seasons. What worked for me, or what was the norm for me, may not be what it is now, even for somebody who applied 3 months ago. So while it's good to get opinions from people, while it's good to hear the experts in quotes, I don't even see myself as an expert. It's good to actually refer to the most authentic information from gov.uk to get your final information. And please, don't allow money be a deterrent factor for you. Don't allow money be a deterrent factor for you. If you have a dream to study masters abroad, not in Nigeria, even if it's not in the UK, do your research, get to know what is required of you. There are people who are willing to sponsor. There are scholarship bodies who are willing to sponsor. I couldn't talk about them today because that's not the scope of our discussion. Well, if you make good, solid applications, there are persons who have actually achieved this feat with nothing, coming from poor backgrounds, and they were able to get scholarships and funding opportunities to actually do their masters abroad. So do not allow anything stop you. If you have the resources and the money, please make use of the opportunity. Someone asked this question. Hi, Dr. Vision. Hi, Ifeanyiwa. Please talk about sponsorship for the work visa. You just need to probably watch the replay of this video because I've already talked about it. All you need, first of all, is to get an offer, a job offer from the employer, and they usually, most jobs will give you a certificate of sponsorship to say that we are willing to sponsor this person for a 1 month or 3 months period when they're in UK. They don't give you any sponsorship per se, but the certificate of sponsorship just stands for you to get a visa. When you come in, your salary and other benefits can help you weather the storms. All right, so it's been a pleasure, Henry. Thank you for this opportunity. I know a lot of persons every day would have questions, and many persons. I know the number of Nigerians who are willing to emigrate every day and to not stop. Do not allow the happenings of the world, I mentioned it before, stop you from your dream. If you observe the wind or the storms, you will neither sow nor reap. So that there's war happening in the eastern part of Europe should not stop you from following your dream. That's the basic thing. Have your plan A, let every other thing be plan B. Follow your dreams, chase after them. Let it be that you tried and you were not, it was not possible, that you did not try at all. And usually when you try, you've already succeeded. Trying alone is really the first step to success. All right, so Henry can take over from there. If there are any further questions, I'll be willing to answer. But I think I promised 1 hour and we are past the 1 hour mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vision. We're so grateful. Thank you so much. So I'm sure we have gotten a lot of value for the time. It was a lot of effort to squeeze out this hour from him, and people are grateful in the comment section. So if you attended this session and you enjoyed it, I just want you to appreciate Dr. Vision as we wrap up in the comment section. Let's thank him for making our time to come
Yeah,
and
it's been a pleasure.
answer
Thanks.
our
Thanks for the
questions.
opportunity.
Okay, let me just try to upload some of the comments for you to see. We're grateful for your
Emmanuel,
time.
thank you very much. I
We're grateful for
appreciate.
your time.
You guys should follow Emmanuel on YouTube. I think he has a very solid platform as well. I think yesterday
Yes,
he had a session where he talked with someone who got Commonwealth scholarships and talked about how to get
exactly.
into the graduate studies. So all about masters, postgraduate studies. He has very in-depth knowledge in that regard. How to apply for masters, how to write your motivation letter, how to source for scholarships and funding. I know many persons wanted to hear that part. So if you could go to his
It's
YouTube
King
page,
Square.
his YouTube page
King
is
Square Inc.
King Square
King
Inc.
Square.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'll type it out now.
so you can type it out and put it. Follow and watch the YouTube videos. It will be really. I was on the live yesterday and I actually learned a lot. It will really help you guys. But I think many persons just wanted to know about visa, so no need for delving into that part. Masters, talking about how to apply for masters is a whole session on its own.
We
And
had a session on it. The video is on this channel. So you can
okay,
just scroll down. We had
good.
a session
So you
on
can
it
actually also watch the
4
videos on
weeks
this
ago.
channel for how to
Everything
apply for
about
masters
masters.
and how to sell yourself in your motivation letter, how to have a very good application that will ensure that you get at least decent offers. And I think more importantly, how to source for funding and opportunities, because most persons already know what to do. The only thing stopping them is getting the money. But like I said, where there's a will, there's a way. So if you put your head in the game, you're able to source for funds. Yeah, that's the YouTube link or the YouTube channel for you to see more videos on getting funding, scholarships, and how to sell yourself in a very good way to get opportunities. So, guys, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Fenyiwa. Thank you, everybody, for sparing your 1 hour to watch this live session. Thank you, Harry, for the opportunity. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Vision. We'll be calling it a day now. So please subscribe to the channel so you can get the replay in case you missed out. And you can share the video with your friends. Thank you, everyone. That will be all for now. Bye.
Bye, guys.